Good afternoon. So very quickly, you can see that here I have my concept drawing for my big bug, and I really made it a big bug. And of course, that is the name of the project. So hint, hint, make your bug big too to fill this design space. There's a head, there's a thorax, and there's an abdomen. You also have these same body parts. You have a head, you have an upper chest, which houses your heart and lungs. That's your thorax. And you have a belly or an abdomen down here with lots and lots of other internal organs in there, just like your tummy. Now, in addition to head, thorax, and abdomen, this bug has some wings, some appendages. Now, you don't have wings. Well, maybe you don't, but you do have appendages. You have arms and legs. Now, these antennae coming out here, one on the left, one on the right, I don't know that those are appendages. They might be, but I guess those would definitely be sensory organs. You know how you have eyes, nose, and mouth in your head? Well, here this bug doesn't really have a nose. I don't think bugs have a nose, but they do have eyes, and they do have antennae up here, and they might actually have some ears up in the head or in some other part of their body. Now, once this concept drawing is traced and opened up, you can see that in my final version here, I have lots and lots of glitter coming to the surface. And that's important because scratching with a stylus, and this wood tool in my hand is a stylus, scratching with a stylus is your technique. And I am grading on technique. I'm grading on technique, I'm grading on detail, I'm grading on craftsmanship. How carefully did you do it? How much of it did you do? And did you use the proper technique? You can practice oftentimes a technique on a smaller piece of material, like I have right here, a very small piece of the Scratchboard, and you can see that my stylus is sharp and I'm just going to drag it. And I'm not going to push very hard, believe it or not. As long as I'm just dragging it, it bites into the surface and I can make a nice set of feathery lines. Now going in there, back and forth again, not pressing hard at all. I don't need to press hard. I'm going to remove a lot of that black. I'm subtracting the black from the top and revealing the bright colors underneath the black. So this is unusual. It's kind of a drawing process, but we're not adding a darn thing. We're actually taking something away. We're taking the top surface away. Now, when you're doing your scratching, be sure to maintain or keep these nice, clean outside edges. Try to have a really well-defined outside edge. Kind of makes sense. There's a lot of contrast between the bright, sparkly color here and the dark black here. Where there is contrast, when there's a lot of contrast, your viewer, that would be any audience person, any audience member coming to look at your work, is going to definitely see that as a very clear, bright edge. And if there are any mistakes along the edge, like that one right there, your audience is going to pick up on that. So I'm going to take that mistake and I'm going to incorporate it. I'm going to work it into my design as if it was meant to be there all along, and nobody's ever going to question why that mistake was there, because they're never going to see it. It's still there. I just worked it into the design. So remembering to practice your skills when you can on a separate piece of paper or a separate piece of material that you're given, and then once you've practiced your skills, you can do them on your final, okay? Remember, lots of scratching to open up or broaden out your lines. The wider the line is, let me go ahead and widen this one a little bit more to match this one over here. The broader your line is, the more heavily weighted it is. Line weight has to do with how thick or thin something is. So this line right here is a very lightly weighted line, and it's right next to a very heavily weighted line right there. And I'm going to put another lightly weighted line right there. And I don't really have to do the same thing over here, but I guess I will since I'm on a roll. Put a lightly weighted line there, put another lightly weighted line there. Maybe I'll go ahead and make some very small marks here coming off this heart. I'm in some darker areas of glitter right now, so the lines are not showing up as well, but no matter. I can always go back and try again. There we go. You don't have to always go back and try again, but I did in this case. Let's make some lines radiating out from the center of the heart over there. So the more scratching you can do, and the more variety of line you can give me, and the bigger the areas of color you can give me, and the more carefully you can do it, the better off you are for your grade. So your final will be this one right here. Full color, very big, lots of scratching, okay, to open up your lines, make them big, make them weighted, and also to open up big areas like you see the triangles and hearts here. Oh, look, there's a different side to side here. That's okay to have that difference. There is that for 40 points, possibly, I'm sorry, 50 points, possibly 60 or 75, and then there is the concept right here. Graded separately, that's worth 30 points, or if you really knock it out of the park and do a great job, that concept drawing can be worth 40 points. Okay, now you try.